After 9 years of sacrificing my education to care for my sick mom and supporting my family, I overheard my sister call me a loser at her graduation. I chose myself for once and left. I'm Lisa, 29F, and I've been struggling with a difficult family situation for years now. It all started when I was 20 years old, a bright-eyed sophomore in college studying psychology. I had big dreams of becoming a clinical psychologist inspired by the therapist who helped me through my dad's death when I was a kid. I was doing well in my classes, had a close group of friends, and was even considering studying abroad the following year. But everything changed when my mom, Sandra, 52F, was diagnosed with a severe chronic illness that left her unable to work. It was a rare autoimmune disorder that attacked her joints and muscles, leaving her in constant pain and with limited mobility. The doctor said it was progressive, and while treatable, there was no cure. At the time, my younger sister, Tom, 24F, was only 15 and still in high school. She was a typical teenager, moody, rebellious, and more interested in video games than anything else. Our dad had passed away in a car accident when Tom was just a baby, so it had always been just the three of us. Mom had worked hard as a legal secretary to support us, but her illness meant she could no longer do that job. When Mom got sick, I knew I had to step up. I remember sitting in my dorm room, staring at the psychology textbooks scattered across my desk and realizing that my dreams would have to be put on hold. It wasn't an easy decision, but I felt like I had no other choice. Mom needed constant care and medical treatments, and Tom was too young to shoulder that burden. I still remember the day I went to the registrar's office to officially withdraw from college. The advisor tried to talk me out of it, suggesting part-time options or taking a leave of absence, but I knew that wouldn't be enough. We needed money, and we needed it now. So at 20 years old, I entered the workforce full-time. My first job was as a receptionist at a small accounting firm. The pay was minimal, but it was steady, and they were willing to hire me without a degree. I moved back home to save money on rent and to be there for Mom and Tom. Those first few months were incredibly difficult. I went from the stimulating environment of college lectures and study groups to answering phones and filing paperwork. In the evenings, I helped Mom with her physical therapy exercises and made sure Tom was keeping up with her schoolwork. There were many nights I'd lie awake wondering if I'd made the right choice, but I pushed through telling myself it was temporary. I thought that once Mom's condition stabilized and Tom was older, I'd be able to go back to school. I clung to that hope even as the years passed and it seemed increasingly unlikely. Over time, I worked my way up from receptionist to administrative assistant. The pay got a bit better, enough to cover our bills and Mom's medical expenses. I made sure Tom had everything she needed for school, supplies, clothes, money for field trips. I wanted her to have all the opportunities I couldn't. Tom was able to finish high school and even go to college thanks to scholarships and financial aid. I was so proud of her and happy that at least one of us would get a degree. I remember the day she got her acceptance letter. I cried tears of joy and took her out for ice cream to celebrate just like Mom and Dad used to do when we got good grades as kids. Throughout this time, I put my own dreams and ambitions on hold. No more college, no traveling, no real social life outside of work. Everything revolved around taking care of Mom and supporting Tom. It was exhausting, but I told myself it was worth it for my family. I'd watch my old college friends posting on social media about their graduations, new jobs, and exciting lives, trying not to feel bitter or resentful. There were moments of happiness too. Like, when Mom had a good day and we'd sit together watching old movies, just like we used to before she got sick. Or when Tom would call from college excited about a good grade or a new friend she'd made, those moments made the sacrifices feel worthwhile. But as the years went on, I started to feel increasingly unappreciated and taken for granted. Mom's condition had stabilized somewhat, but she still needed a lot of care. She complained constantly about how hard her life was, but rarely acknowledged everything I'd sacrificed. She'd make comments about how I should be doing more or how other daughters she knew were more devoted to their mothers.